Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to Paytm Money's Talk. And today's episode is Breaking Bonds, Arka Fincap's Debt IPO Unveiled. So it's for the first time we want to talk about debt IPO. We have been talking about mutual funds and all different instruments. So today's topic is slightly going to be different, and that's what makes the discussion much more interesting. So I'm Neeraj Gogoi, your host for the talk. And before I start, very quickly, let me tell you what the Paytm Money Talk is all about. As you know, it's been almost 2 years we have been doing this particular show, and the whole idea is to get new ideas, new strategies to educate and empower our investors and the viewers about how to upgrade their uplift their investment journey. And let me tell you that this talk is powered by Paytm Money. Okay, so Arka Fincap, an NBFC and a subsidiary of Kirloskar Engines Limited, they provide secured and unsecured financing solution to SMEs and MSMEs, and also to developers and corporates. Arka is an RBI licensed company. Arka was founded in 2018, and CRISIL has assigned Arka rating of AA for long-term borrowing and A1 plus for short-term borrowings. Now, Arca is coming up with an issue, NCD, non-convertible debentures worth 300 crores. On December 5th is the first day. So NCD will have a face value of around 1,000. The base issue size for the offer is going to be 150 crores, and also a green shoe options of around 150 crores if the issue is oversubscribed. Now, today to discuss about the pros and cons of the issue, what are the strengths. So I have got members from the senior management team, Mr. Nachiket Naik. So he's a corporate head of corporate lending. So Nachiket is one of the founding member of Arka Fincap and heads the corporate lending wing at Arka Fincap Limited. So he has got over 25 years of experience in credit and debt market and worked in the leadership position with well-known financial companies such as IREP Credit Capital, UBS, ABN AMRO, and Infrastructure Leasing and Finance Limited. I have got second member, Mr. Amit Gupta. He is Group Chief CFO, Group CFO. So Amit, again, at Arka Fincap, and responsible for raising funds, managing overall cost of borrowing funds, deployment of treasury funds, budgeting, financial analysis, accounting, compliance, and other ancillary services. So welcome both of you, Amit and Nachiket.
Afternoon, everybody.
Thanks, Neeraj, for giving an introduction about the company and myself and Mr. Nachiket Naik, my senior colleague. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Arka family, let me welcome all of you to the maiden launch of a public issue of NCDs of Arka Fincap Limited. Can we run the presentations now?
Yes. Triti? Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. As I was mentioning, Arka Fincap Limited is a step-down subsidiary of Kirloskar Oil Engines Limited, which is a flagship company of the legendary group, that is the Kirloskar Group. Arka Fincap Limited was incorporated in 2019 with a clear motive of diversification from the ancestral manufacturing business and venturing into the financial services lines. In 2019, when the company was being incorporated, the motive was behind this entity to create and formulate an independent credit lending institution to cater to various assets class of the society. Archive started its operation and at the initial stage of operation got and secured the rating of AA minus with stable outlook from CRISIL. Over a period of time with its consistent performance and delivering healthy financial results, Arca has been able to, sorry, Crisil has revised the rating from AA minus stable to AA minus positive outlook. Standing as on 30th September, the external credit rating of a company stands at AA minus with positive outlook. Arca has imbibed the inherent culture of a high level of corporate governance, business ethics from its legendary group, that is Kirloskar Group. And the promoter have already infused to the extent of a 1,000 crore, whatever have been the commitment. And leveraging upon the same, company has levered the balance sheet to the extent of a 2.8x. And currently standing, the AUM comes to around 4,033 crore as on 30th September 2023. We believe that we have best in class risk practices. We have formulated robust monitoring mechanism and up to date technology framework that enables us to maintain our assets quality as well. That is what is getting reflected in our GNPA and NNPA number. If we have just a glance to our GNPA number, which stands to only 0.19% as on 30th September, we believe that it is far ahead as compared to the industry numbers, and that is the one thing that we are very proud upon. As on 30th September, the entire portfolio of the company have been diversified across three broad business segment that stands mid corporate lending, real estate funding or the developer financing, including urban infrastructure funding, and the major chunk coming from SME and MSME segment as well. Being a highly diversified book, almost 40% of AUM coming from the SME, MSME, approximately 31% coming from a mid corporate structured term lending, and 29% coming from a developer financing and urban infrastructure. If we have a look at the branch network, we are currently now present in 11 states across 26 locations. Starting from 2019, standing at the 30th September 2023, we have onboarded more than 326 people onto the company board. In terms of a liability, the company's balance sheet is again highly diversified. As the company focuses on the asset diversification, the liability has been getting an equal focus and attention from the promoter, from the management, and the board members as well. As on 30th September, the liability book of the company stands at 3,153 crore, which is spread across more than 30 lenders. If we talk of the large private sector bank, large public sector bank, some family offices, big AMCs and all, they all have been supportive in our journey since day one. We have been associated with almost all the lending institution, large NBFCs plus together in some way or another, who have been contributing their support to our endeavors. Now, if we talk about the journey of Arka Fincap Limited, the lending book of the company, which I was stating, it's currently standing at a 4,000 odd crore, including the off-book AUM. The total AUM stands at 4,122 crore. The journey had started with 450 crore in March 2020, moving on to 1,124 crore in March 2021, taking the number to 2,379 crore in March 2022, and moving on to 3,960 crore on March 2023. The journey has not been only a matter of a year or two, it has been a consistent and increasing in a calibrated manner. If we talk of the profit after tax, if we talk of a net worth of a company, the borrowings, the CRAR, you can see the entire trend. The company has been delivering healthy financials over a period of a time. Talking of about the promoter and the promoter group, structurally, Arka Fincap Limited is a 100% step-down subsidiary of Kirloskar Oil Engines Limited. Kirloskar Oil Engines Limited, which is a flagship company of the legendary the Kirloskar Group. Kirloskar Oil Engine Limited is basically focused in the manufacturing of gensets and expanding its wing not only to the domestic market but to the overseas market as well. As on 30th September, the market capitalization of a company stands in excess of 7,500 crore. Year on year basis, Kirloskar Oil Engines also have been delivering healthy financials in terms of both top line and bottom line. If we just have a brief glance over the bottom line and the top line of a company, last 3 year financials, the company have been registered a healthy growth year on year basis. Both the turnover of a company has been increasing from 2,600 crore, moving on to 4,100 crore in a period of 3 years, and then registering a PAT of 170 crore, moving on to 270 crore within a span of 3 years itself. What we believe in Arka, that the journey of Arka Fincap would not have been possible without the guidance and support of its elite and distinguished board members. Arka Fincap Limited is being guided by the 8 board member team, out of which 5 are independent director. If we talk of Mr. Vimal Bhandari, who is the executive vice chairman and CEO of the company, is one of the early member into the organization who has been responsible for devising the entire strategy and the business operations of the company. Mr. Mahesh Chhabaria and Ms. Gauri Kirloskar represents more the family and the promoter group itself. Apart from the three, all 5 are independent director, Mr. Harish Engineer, Mr. D. Shivanandan, Mr. Vijay Chub, Mr. Yogesh Kapoor, and R. Gurumurthy. All are industry veteran into the BFSI segment since ages. In terms of a business profile, as we were highlighting that yes, the entire AUM have been split into 3 broad business segments, starting from mid corporate lending, infrastructure, and real estate funding, and moving on to MSME and SME lending. The entire book has been highly diversified, wherein we have been lending across the ticket size segment, starting from 1 crore, then moving up to 35 odd crore, wherein the weighted average yield across the segment ranges from 12.4% to 13.57%. See, we have established track record of a gross disbursements of more than 7,000 to 8,000 crore over a period of time, and we believe we have seen a multiple churning and cycles into our AUM, resultant of which the outstanding loan book is approximately 4,200 crore into the balance sheet as on 30th September 2023. While moving on to the SME and MSME funding, which is now the mantra and the growing pattern of the industry as well, as Arka being into the NBFC segment is also focusing more on the SME lending. If we see the disbursement trends, the disbursement trend for the last couple of year or 2.5 years have been increasing in a very significant manner. We 2022 we registered 444 crore of gross disbursement, which moved to roughly around 10,000 crore of disbursements in last year, and 6 months period ended 30th September 2023, we have already registered a gross disbursement of more than 700 crore. Out of which, if we see the digital disbursement piece and the non-digital disbursements piece, both are gaining a momentum. Arca has been expanding its footprint via opening retail branches in the tier 1, 2, and 3 cities with a model of opting for a hub and spoke. We have been catering these services to the manufacturer traders and suppliers into the SME segment who have been registered with the government as a with their Udyam registration certificates. In Arca, we have been leveraging more upon the technology. We believe that without technology in this today's era, in the highly competitive world, no one will be able to sustain and beat the competition itself. That is why we have been adopting a low code, no code agile applications, and the SaaS based support systems already are in place. From day one, if we talk about the loan origination system, loan management system, the financing accounting system, web portal, HRMS, and other operational aspects, everything is digitized and there have been less manual intervention. All the systems are talking to each other through the API integration to enhance the customer journey and to give a better customer experience in its journey with Arca. This is one thing which at Arca we are very pride and we are very confident of, that we have been able to maintain the asset quality despite the industry have been going through its own challenges over a period of time. While moving on to while doing the disbursements and maintaining a assets quality on a side by side, it's a very challenging task, but with the guidance and support of the senior leadership team, it has been made possible. If we see as on 30th September, the only GNPA number out of 4,000 crore of AUM stands at only 7.37 crore, which represents 0.19% of the total AUM. Even if we talk of the NNPA number, we are only at 0.05%. Borrowing profile and leverage of the company. See, this is one thing which is like bread and butter for any NBFC. Leveraging upon the balance sheet, I always believe that yes, it is not a borrowing, but technically it is a raw material for any financial institution. Over a period of time, company have been able to raise more than 5,000 odd crore at a gross level, and with the scheduled repayment and prepayments and all others, the net outstanding debt stands at 3,153 crore only as on 30th September, which took us only to the debt equity ratio of a 2.78x. However, as per the regulator, it is being allowed with a 15% of a CRR. We'll be covering in the next slide itself. And as per the regulation, if we are allowed to go up to 15% of a CRAR, but with the moderate leverage as on 30th September, the CRAR of the company stands at 27.59%, which is approximately 2x of the prescribed limit by the RBI. There have been a regular capital infusion into the company from the promoter itself. Over a period of a time, the committed money of 1,000 crore has already been infused. And one important aspect like to highlight to all the members here that we have always been positive ALM mismatch in any of the bucket. We believe that this is one of the segment and one of the key factor which any NBFC or any other financial institution need to monitor to keep the healthy growth over a period of a time. And that is why we are also committed for that, and we ensure that there have not been any ALM mismatch in any of the buckets. See, apart from the disbursements, the AUM built up, the healthy assets quality and all, the profitability of a company always matters to its stakeholders. And Arca is not an exception to this. Over a period of time, we have been delivering a healthy PPOP, that is pre-provisioning operating profit and profit after tax, to its stakeholder. If we just have a look at the numbers starting from a year one, that is March 2020, we were at 7 crore of a PAT, which moved to 16.9 crore of a PAT in FY 2021, moving on to 32.5 crore of a PAT in FY 2022, and then 61.3 crore of PAT in March 2023. Now, with the 6 months ended, we are at 35.3 crore, and another 6 months performance yet to come into the financial year. Honestly speaking, these are some of the detailed numbers which we have been discussing over last 15-20 minutes. I don't want all of you to get bored by it, but definitely we'll be running it past and scrolling it down for your reference and ready reference purpose. If any question or anybody wants to dig down deep into any of the number, we'll be more than happy to answer that. So this is the entire profit and loss of the company, which we have been publishing over a period as well. That is March 2021, 22, 23, and the 30th September 2023 number is also reflected here. And this is the asset sides of the balance sheet. When we started the company, we were at 500 crore in March 2021. Now we have grown up to 4,500 crore over a period of 4.5 years of operations. Similarly, on the liability side, if we see almost like 1,130 crore being funded from a equity side and balance approximately 3,100 crore being funded by the debt, all put together, we are standing at 4,000 crore of overall balance sheet. Just want to highlight about the issue structure, what we are proposing right now. We are coming to the public to raise 300 crore via issuances of secured, rated, listed, redeemable and non-convertible debentures. We are proposing to raise 300 crore with a base issue size of 150 crore, apart from that, there is a green shoe option of another 150 crore. The issue is proposed to be opening tomorrow, that is 7 December 2023, and we intend to close on 20 December 2023 with an option for an early closure depending on the demand and the supply. Credit rating of the instrument stands at AA minus with positive outlook, and the security cover we are offering for the NCD holder is 1.1x. The specific terms of the issuances is like this. We are offering a 2-year, 3-year, and 5-year of debentures with both options with quarterly and annual interest repayments. Starting in the range from 9.29, we are offering a yield of 9.99% across the various categories and across various tenures. The partners who are associated with us into the issuance are our lead managers, who is JM Financials and Nuvama. Khaitan and Company has been appointed as a legal counsel of the issue. Debenture trustee have been appointed as a Catalyst Trusteeship Limited. Messrs. PG Bhagwat LLP is our statutory auditors. Lincoln Time is our RTA agent for the issuances. Rating agency identified for this particular issuance is CRISIL, who have already rated as our instrument as a AA minus with positive outlook. And banker to the issue is HDFC Bank. These are certain statutory disclaimer. Before I open the session for a Q&A, I would like to thank for your patience and hearing us out. And just as a final submission, I'd like to say that Arka Fincap Limited is backed by a strong and stable promoter group with guidance and support from the elite and distinguished member who has enabled the entire leadership team to focus on a one common goal, so that we are able to deliver a healthy performance both in terms of a financials and in terms of an enhanced customer experience. Thank you. Over to you, Neeraj.
Yes, I think it's a exhaustive presentation that you have given. When you talk about bond investing, basically, it's like our viewers mostly they are quite familiar with equity stocks, mutual funds. Now, when you talk about bond IPO, so किस तरीके का रिटर्न दे कैन एक्सपेक्ट नाउ हाउ इट इज डिफरेंट देन इक्विटी इन्वेस्टमेंट तो थोड़ा हम लोग को समझा देंगे क्या कि क्यों करना चाहिए बॉन्ड इन्वेस्टिंग में हाउ इट इज डिफरेंट फ्रॉम फिक्स डिपॉजिट नाउ इट इज काफी सारे लोग फिक्स डिपॉजिट में पैसा रखते हैं यू नो सो हाउ इट इज डिफरेंट इन यू नो बिटवीन दिस I think any one of you can do
Sure, Neeraj.
yeah
Let me take this question, Neeraj. This
yeah
is totally different from the equity instrument. If we talk about the market, we have a multiple options
mm-hmm,
available for investment.
mm-hmm,
For a investor point of view, if I do see, as an investor also, I particularly allocate my investments into two, three different buckets. One, the base level, which I intend to get a stable fixed rate of return over my investments over a fixed period of horizon, depending on the
mm-hmm,
interest rate cycle into the economy. Then accordingly the investment decision is being taken. And apart from that, if people want to
mm,
invest into the equity segment, that is totally a different segment, which is a high risk high return kind of a game, and high risk high return kind of arena, I must say, wherein
mm-hmm,
that kind of instrument you can choose, you can pick your company. In terms of investments, you can invest via NCD, you can invest into certain other large NBFC via their fixed deposit issuances and all, and these will give you a stable fixed return over a fixed tenure of your investments.
correct mm-hmm. ओके सो अगेन हम लोग थोड़ा हिंदी में भी बात करेंगे क्योंकि हम लोग का काफी सारा व्यूअर्स है एंड उन लोग हमेशा यू नो लव अस टू लव्ड टू हियर इन हिंदी तो
Sure.
जो हम लोग फिक्स रिटर्न का बात करते हैं ये जो इशू है आप लोग का हाउ मच रिटर्न दैट यू आर गोइंग टू गिव लाइक कूपन इंटरेस्ट और समथिंग
नीरज, ये पूरा इशुएंस हमने तीन अलग अलग टेन्योर में डिवाइड किया है, विच इज 2 साल, 3 साल और 5 साल.
करेक्ट
इन्वेस्टर अपने होराइजन को डिसाइड करते हुए पैसा इन्वेस्ट कर सकता है. अगर 2 साल का इन्वेस्टमेंट प्लान उनका है, 2 साल का होराइजन उन्होंने डिसाइड किया है, दे विल बी एबल टू गेट 9.3% रिटर्न.
ओके
अगर उनका इंटेंशन 3 साल में इन्वेस्ट करने का है, दे विल बी एबल टू गेट 9.65% रिटर्न. और over a period of 5 years, they will be able to make 9.99% return on an annualized basis.
अच्छा हम लोग कैन वी कंपेयर इट विद अ फिक्स डिपॉजिट इन द बैंक्स आल्सो क्योंकि काफी सारे लोग हैं जो पैसा हमेशा फिक्स डिपॉजिट में रखते हैं सो फॉर मी इफ आई गेट सपोज नाउ इन केस ऑफ HDFC और यू नो you talk about SBI it gives around 5.5 to 7.5 kind of percent return so compared to that 9% 9.9% it looks quite attractive so can we compare is it fair to compare between those क्योंकि काफी सारे लोग कंफ्यूज होगा little bit who are not familiar with bonds
Yes. See, I must admit this is a new kind of a instrument which is not
Mhm,
known to the public, I must say the general public per se. People in the HNI category और जो high net worth individual जिन्हें हम बोलते हैं, they have been investing into these instruments since long.
correct Mhm,
But अगर मेरे को इसे compare करना हो from bank
mhm,
FD versus this NCD bonds issuances by the private listed company or a public listed company kind of stuff, risk and return. एक
hmm,
इन्वेस्टर जब भी कहीं भी इन्वेस्ट करता है, वो रिस्क और रिटर्न को अपना तालमेल बैठा करके करता है.
बिल्कुल
बैंक में इन्वेस्ट करना with a lower rate of return is giving them maybe more secured in their mind.
hmm,
मैं ऑनेस्टली किसी का इन्वेस्टमेंट डिसीजन चैलेंज नहीं कर सकता हूँ, बट आइडेंटिफाइंग एन अल्टरनेट सोर्स ऑफ इन्वेस्टमेंट and then seeing whether that investment is giving you a better return over a period of time with almost equal or near to equal kind of a stability and security, whether it is meaningful or not. I leave it
Mm-hmm.
to the judgment of the individual investor. But definitely, अगर आप देखोगे in terms of a return compared to bank FD, these instruments are also offering a decent incremental decent incremental return over a period of time.
Mm-hmm. ओके, कोई भी इन्वेस्टर्स को अगर इन्वेस्ट करना है, देन he'll have to remain locked in for 2 years at least, then 3 years or 5 years, right?
सी बहुत सारे इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स में ऑप्शंस होते हैं बाईबैक करने के लिए. इन्वेस्टर्स कॉल कर सकते हैं, इन्वेस्टर सेकेंडरी मार्केट में भी बेच सकते हैं. नाउ डेज देर आर
Mm-hmm.
वेरियस debt portal where they can go and they can talk to their various intermediaries who can help them in liquidating their investments. There is
Correct.
nothing called lock-in point of view. Only thing investors should know if they want a liquidity, whom to approach and how to approach.
Okay. मतलब okay, it is going to be listed, so वहां पे somebody can exit also, right? अगर मैंने ले लिया
Yes.
बॉन्ड को सब्सक्राइब कर लिया, और I have some emergency of fund, maybe after 1 month or 2 months, so I can always exit. Although,
Yes.
uh,
Regulatory, there is no compulsion that you have to remain or you have to remain locked in during the tenure.
हम्म. अच्छा, व्हेन यू टॉक अबाउट बॉन्ड, एक चीज जो आप लोग कहते हैं AA+, AA- जो रेटिंग है, सो
Yes.
हाउ इम्पोर्टेंट इज दैट रेटिंग? एंड ये जो रेटिंग का जो मतलब सीरीज है, जो हायरार्की है, तो वहां पे हाउ डू यू कंसिडर जो आपका इशू है, हाउ सेफ इज इट फॉर मी? और अगेन सेकंड इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन उसका साथ ही आएगा along with that, कि suitable किसके लिए होगा? Of course, this question is definitely for somebody who is a financial advisor,
Yeah.
certified financial advisor or registered financial advisor. But again, वहां पे कुछ light throw कर सकते हो?
I would request my senior colleague Nachiket sir to throw light on this. He has been
Yeah.
veteran for this particular point.
Okay.
So no, thank you, Amit. And like Amit was just saying, this is a देखिए क्रेडिट रेटिंग अगर आप देखते हो तो AAA, सिंगल ए, BBB इस स्केल पे होती है. What this
Correct.
denotes is the level of safety. AAA is the most safe, and then each
Mhm.
notch is slightly lower than the other. If you see, most of the bigger issuers of NCDs or bank deposits are all in the AAA, AA space, which is where we also as Arka in the AA- space are. So it denotes the degree of safety of the
Hmm.
instrument and the on the strength by way of which the company is able to repay back the lenders. As Amit was
Okay.
saying, if you compare credit quality, most of the banks being AAA obviously offer 5-6% rate of return. We being some notches lower rated does not mean we are risky, but then the investors get compensated by way of the higher yield that our bonds are offering for the slightly lesser credit rating that we have as an entity. So it's not denoting risk of money coming back. It's just denoting degree of safety, which is getting compensated by way of the yield that the bonds are offering compared to the fixed deposits of banks.
Okay, wonderful. Now again, nowadays people talk about debt fund, right? We always invest. We have got part of our investment always allocated towards debt mutual funds. Now, यहाँ पे is a, instead of investing in a debt mutual fund, I'm investing directly in an IPO debt instrument. So, is there any difference between two? And even to people who invest in a debt mutual funds, can they consider this also as an investment in their portfolio? So, yeah,
नीरज जी, उसमें एक चीज आपको बताना चाहूंगा. आप जब अपने इन्वेस्टमेंट्स को करते हो, आप हमेशा डाइवर्सिफिकेशन ढूंढते हैं. अगर
बिल्कुल.
आप थ्रू डेट म्यूचुअल फंड के थ्रू आते हैं जहां पे बहुत सारी स्कीम्स चलती हैं मार्केट में,
हम्म.
अल्टीमेटली डेट म्यूचुअल फंड भी पैसा इन्हीं सब बॉन्ड्स में लगाते हैं, आइदर डायरेक्टली और इनडायरेक्टली.
हम्म.
But as an investor into mutual fund, when you are picking up a scheme, your 1 rupee or your 100 rupee is diversified to 10 different instruments.
हम्म.
Wherein if you are picking one investments into one company, your 100 rupee is totally invested into one entity only. The chances of going bad, that taking decision may be little bit different in both the instruments, and that's how the returns are totally different in both the instruments. जो फंड मैनेजर हैं वो उसी मार्केट एक्सपर्टीज की,
हम्म.
जो फीस चार्ज करते हैं, जो एयूएम के चार्जेस होते हैं, जो एज एन इन्वेस्टर आप उनको एग्री करते हो पे करने के लिए, इट इज कमिंग आउट ऑफ बिकॉज दे आर एक्सपर्ट इन दैट पर्टिकुलर डोमेन कि किस समय कौन सा कॉल लेना है। vis-a-vis एज एन इंडिपेंडेंट इन्वेस्टर, इफ यू आर कॉन्फिडेंट कि यस मेरे को इस कंपनी पे पूरा कॉन्फिडेंस है, इसका डेट का आईपीओ आ रहा है और इसका डेट का इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स मार्केट में अवेलेबल है, आई नो द कंपनी और 100% कॉन्फिडेंट हूँ कि मेरा पैसा नहीं डूबेगा, देन देर आर ऑप्शंस अवेलेबल, आप डायरेक्टली भी वो बॉन्ड ले सकते हैं एंड देन यू कैन मेक extra money over to mutual fund returns.
Correct. Mutual fund, there are certain expenses called expense ratio, management cost, and all. So again, I think some transactional costs as well,
Yes.
which can be perhaps avoided here. Yeah. Again, one more thing. Again, bond is a gentleman's, investment basically, and equity is much more volatile. So how much investment is required? What is the minimum ticket size that I can invest in your particular, if I'm a small investor, first time investor, I'm coming to the market for the first time. Suppose I'm 22 years, 25 years old. So do you again, I'm not saying recommend, do you think it's suitable for him to invest in this kind of instrument?
Neeraj, there is no harm in taking a new venue of investments. There is always a new opportunity available, and this debt market is gaining momentum day by day. अगर हम देखें, as per the regulation, there is a minimum requirement of only 10,000 crore for an individual investors to come and participate in this particular IPO.
10,000 rupees, Amit, not 10,000
Yeah,
crore.
10,000 rupees. 10,000 rupees. Sorry.
Okay.
सो
Thank you.
10,000 रुपए लगा करके एक इन्वेस्टर इस मार्केट में उतर सकता है, इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स को जांच परख कर सकता है और मार्केट की गहराई भी टू सम एक्सटेंट आई मस्ट से जांच सकते हैं। अगर सेकेंडरी मार्केट में डील करना हो तो सेकेंडरी मार्केट में डिपेंडिंग ऑन द डिमांड एंड सप्लाई मिनिमम अमाउंट 1 लाख, 5 लाख, 10 लाख, नेचर ऑफ इंस्ट्रूमेंट क्या है, क्या उसकी रेटिंग है, उसकी डिमांड और सप्लाई क्या है, उसके ऊपर डिपेंड करता है कि सामने वाला जो वेल्थ का बंदा है या सामने वाला जो सेलर है, व्हाट इज द क्वांटिटी ही इज ऑफरिंग ऑन टू द बोर्ड. But if we talk specifically about the Arka bond, there is a minimum requirement of only 10,000 rupees to start investing.
Okay, great. So with the 10,000 rupees, we can start investing in this particular bond.
Yes.
One very important, Nachiket sir, one very important is risk part. Risk is always important to consider while investing. So what are the risks could be associated in the bond investing in general and Arka in particular?
Sure. So broadly, if you see, there are two risks that bond investing in general entails. One is what we call credit risk, which means whether the issuer of the bond will be able to repay your money on due date. That is denoted by the credit rating, which we just discussed. Two is what is called market risk, which means today, if you have subscribed to the bond, if you hold it till maturity, suppose आपने 2 साल का bond खरीदा और 2 साल तक आपने hold किया, तो आपको आपके 100 रुपए जो लगाए विद इंटरेस्ट पूरा वापस आ जाएगा. लेकिन like Amit mentioned, if after 1 year you need money and you need to sell the bond, now then the price of the bond is a function of market rates in the market interest rates. And to that extent, जैसे आप म्यूचुअल फंड में देखते हो, डेली NAV आपका म्यूचुअल फंड का चेंज होता है, because that is a function of whether interest rates go up or down. So similarly to the bond, though it is much lesser as compared to mutual funds, there is this element of what we call market risk, where the NAV of the bond can go up or down as a function of interest rates in the market. So ye dono are risks that mutual fund invest or as a bond investors face in general. Pertaining to our issue, like I said, if you see the credit quality and our credit underwriting process as denoted by almost zero NPA status that we have, and as denoted by the strong AA minus credit rating that we have, that captures the element of credit risk. And market risk wise, I think today we are in a good space in general from a market point of view because of two things. One is that generally small ticket investors in bonds like fixed deposits normally hold it to maturity. You know your time horizon by way of when you require money, and you invest accordingly by way of whether it's 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. It's only in the case of an urgency or exigency that you require your money, where you may suffer some market risk related things, which may also not be so significant in the current scenario because we are all said and done at the peak of the interest rate cycle, which means if interest rates move down, the price of the bond actually only moves up. So you may be in a
Mhm.
good situation where you're getting a high interest rate today, and tomorrow, God forbid, if you need the money, God willing, if interest rates come down, you'll actually make a profit when you sell the bond as well.
Actually, in every Paytm Money Talk, we have got a segment called market, market understanding,
Yes.
talk about the market. So today I'm going to ask you about, interest rate cycle. We are at the peak of the interest rate. How do you going forward? Do you think how the interest rate is going to play out, and how a bond investor can benefited or probably could be a threat or whatever? उनके लिए क्या scenario बनता है?
So I will just answer that in 2 points. One, we have the credit policy on Friday. So if you wait for
Yes.
less than 48 hours, you will have the man in the hot seat, the governor guiding you on where interest rates are headed. And two, for retail investors, I think they
Mhm.
shouldn't really look at a trading strategy or approach to the market. They are, this allocation for them is safety of money. And like they do with fixed deposits, for a tenor, they should invest where they feel they don't require that liquidity. So I really wouldn't encourage small ticket retail investors to adopt a trading strategy on bonds by way of how interest rate cycle is going to play out. But make it that if I'm getting 9.3 or 9.65 or 10% as interest rate, I decide for what tenor I don't need liquidity, invest in the bond, hold it to maturity. If you require, then there is obviously the ability to sell given that this is listed, and then the market risk which you can take, though it is minimal given that we're at the end of the cycle. But I wouldn't recommend that investors should invest in this bond with an outlook on trading on interest rates and trying to capture some capital gain. Look upon it as a accrual interest that you would own till maturity.
Wonderful. Again, bond investing is considered to be one of the very safe instrument, right? Now, one category that comes to my mind is the people who are retired people. They need a fix उनको एक fix income चाहिए,
Yes.
quarterly, monthly. So now, two things. What is the interest payout cycle for your bond particularly? And can that category, instead of keeping money in a fixed deposit or something else, can I look forward to park my money here for next 3 to 5 years in this particular bond? So,
अ,
yeah.
नीरज, हमारे बॉन्ड इश्यूएंस में एज मैंने बताया हमने 3 टेन्योर स्पेसिफाई किए हैं, 2 साल, 3 साल
Hmm.
और 5 साल। हर टेन्योर के लिए हमने 2 ऑप्शंस रखे हैं एज़ एन इंटरेस्ट पेमेंट फ्रीक्वेंसी। फॉर दोज क्लास ऑफ इन्वेस्टर्स जिनकी आप बात कर रहे हो, हमने उनके लिए ऑप्ट किया है कि हर 3 महीने में एवरी 3 मंथ्स दैट इज़ क्वार्टरली, देयर इज़ एन ऑप्शन ऑफ इंटरेस्ट पेमेंट, और हर साल दैट इज़ एनुअली देयर इज़ एन ऑप्शन ऑफ
Hmm.
इंटरेस्ट पेमेंट। So depending on the investor need, he can pick and he can choose the option which is available to him. अगर उन्हें हर 3 महीने में इंटरेस्ट की रकम चाहिए, हमारे पास वो ऑप्शन है। अगर उन्हें
Hmm.
3 महीने में रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं है, हर साल के एंड पे चाहिए, हमारे पास वो भी ऑप्शंस है। We have designed it keeping in mind the need of the ultimate investor.
Correct.
एग्जैक्टली टॉकिंग ऑफ दैट इन्वेस्टर क्लास की जो रिटायर्ड वाले हैं उनको एक फिक्स स्टेबल इनकम महीने दर महीने या क्वार्टरली या एनुअली डिपेंडिंग ऑन उनकी रिक्वायरमेंट ही कैन पिक, दे कैन चूज एंड दे कैन इन्वेस्ट अकॉर्डिंगली इनटू आवर पेपर।
Okay, wonderful. Now there are many questions. Of course, the questions are related to again equity part. There are two, three questions which I think I will skip here. Mr. Sairam, Sri Sairam, Mr. Mohit Yadav, thank you so much for asking questions. In fact, other viewers also, if you have got any questions, could be questions आपका मन में, please feel free, go ahead, ask your questions. हम लोग तो इक्विटी में lots of programs, mutual fund, AMCs में हम लोग करते रहते हैं, but this is for the
Yeah.
first time we are doing on bond. सो यहाँ से क्या होता है, हम लोग का एजुकेशन भी बढ़ते हैं कि हाँ भाई, दिस इज अ वेरी सीरियस एसेट क्लास वेयर वी नीड टू रियली एलोकेट सीरियसली एक पार्ट ऑफ आवर मनी which we can diversify our portfolio. That's a very asset allocation. While allocating asset, we can always allocate a part of our investment to debt instruments. Now, coming to next question is about taxation. How is the tax treatment? We know that equity ka tax. How is it different than? We know that there are some changes this year about bond, debt investing, and all. Can you throw some light into this, Mr.
Uh,
Nachiket? Yeah, yeah, any one of you can, both of you can go. Yeah.
okay, so let me start, Nachiket sir. If you want to add on, then you can definitely add on to it. So, Neeraj, for your audience and everybody, for the
Yeah.
benefit of everyone, टैक्स ट्रीटमेंट के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से पहले एक अलग इंस्ट्रूमेंट मार्केट में चला करता था जिसे हम मार्केट लिंक डिबेंचर्स कहते थे।
Mm-hmm.
वहाँ पे टैक्स ट्रीटमेंट बिकॉज ऑफ द इक्विटी नेचर ऑफ द इंस्ट्रूमेंट, टैक्स
Mm-hmm.
ट्रीटमेंट 10% या अकॉर्डिंगली इक्विटी का जो ट्रीटमेंट होता है डिपेंडिंग ऑन अ लॉन्ग टर्म
Mm-hmm.
इन्वेस्टमेंट्स और शॉर्ट टर्म इन्वेस्टमेंट्स, टैक्स अथॉरिटी अकॉर्डिंगली उस पर टैक्स का चार्ज लगाया करती थी। बट फ्रॉम दिस फाइनेंशियल ईयर ऑनवर्ड्स टैक्स अथॉरिटीज ने वो प्रोविजन हटा दिया गया है और आज के दिन जो भी बॉन्ड इशुएंसेस हैं उनके ऊपर नेचुरल टैक्स ट्रीटमेंट, दैट इज नॉर्मल स्लैब, एज यू आर अर्निंग इंटरेस्ट ऑन योर any other investments or any other fixed income investments, I must say, जो भी आपका टैक्स ट्रीटमेंट है डिपेंडिंग ऑन द इनकम स्लैब वेयर यू फिट इन, वो वाली स्लैब लग करके आपका टैक्स अकॉर्डिंगली कटता है और आपको टैक्स उस हिसाब से गवर्नमेंट को पे करना पड़ता है।
Okay, great. So great. I think we have almost discussed almost all the key points. I don't know if we have missed something. We have talked about liquidity. We have talked about return. We have talked about risk. We have talked about safety, taxations, and who it should be. Finally, closing, Nachiket sir, if you can throw us a overall,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah. So I will just say one thing. On asset allocation, like Amit said, there are two options for retail investors. One is equity, where they invest either through mutual funds, equity mutual funds, or directly into single stocks. Similarly, now on the debt side, where you would largely be investing either into bank deposits or debt mutual funds. Now, this third option within the debt category of directly investing into NCDs is also coming about, which is a good mix in the portfolio by way of the
Mhm.
risk return that you can take and add to your portfolio. You should always look at your basket of investments as a mix of various options given your appetite, your return appetite, and the threshold and the liquidity of your nature of money investments. So this just gives you another option, which within the debt world is better than fixed deposits, is as comparable as mutual funds, if not better. And it gives you an ability, like you do in equity, to pick and choose where you want to deploy. So it's a good addition, which gives just a better optionality by way of what investors can put their money into in that sense of it.
Wonderful. I think we got some questions now. One is Mr. Ravindra Behra, and one is from video creator. Okay, so I think Amit, you can address their questions. Mr. Video Creator is asking like, what's mean by bond? In fact, he seems to be a new person in the bond investing. So he said, what do you mean by bond? How it works? Faster, can I invest in which bond? Which is the best bond for who does not know anything about bond investment? That is one thing. And Ravindra, he is asking, what is the offer today? Arka bonds in Paytm Money investors. So can they buy Paytm through Paytm Money platform? Yes, Ravindra, absolutely. You can buy Arka bonds through Paytm Money platform as well. You can do transactions as well. So Amit, finally, you can answer those questions. Again, another question, there are so many bonds like government bonds, corporate bonds. Which is the best for fresher? That's a very important question. It's the same question from video creator. Yeah.
थैंक यू ऑडियंस फॉर आस्किंग दिस क्वेश्चन। अगर आपको मैं बताऊं कि कौन सा बॉन्ड सेफ है, गवर्नमेंट बॉन्ड और प्राइवेट सेक्टर बॉन्ड, ऑनेस्टली इफ यू आर अ पैसिव इन्वेस्टर और यू वांट टोटली 100% सेफ्टी, नथिंग बेटर देन अ जीसेक। बट अगर
Mhm.
आपका इंटेंशन है कि आपको थोड़ा सा रिस्क एडजस्टेड रिटर्न चाहिए, एंड एज आई अर्लियर सेड ऑल्सो, इफ यू नो द कंपनी इन एंड आउट, इफ यू आर 100% कॉन्फिडेंट ऑफ योर रिटर्न and your investment horizon also allows you to take a little extra risk, there are multiple private sector options which are available which can give you a little extra kicker over the G6 return. As a fresher, you can try for both. Now the window is available for investing into the G6 also, and there are multiple options where you can invest into the corporate bonds as well.
Okay. Again, another question, Prakash Kheranar से इन्फो में एनएफओ में पार्टिसिपेट करने का बाद एलोकेशन 100% होता है क्या? Am I going to get
सर ये
100% allocation
ये
when I apply for it?
सर ऑनेस्टली अगर आप इक्विटी में भी इन्वेस्ट करते हैं, सिमिलर इज द केस विद डेट, इट ऑल डिपेंड्स ऑन अ डेट डिमांड एंड सप्लाई। हमारा इशुएंस की अगर मैं बात करूं, हमारा इशुएंस कल से चालू हो रहा है और 20 तारीख तक ओपन रहेगा। वी हैव अलाउड एज ए अर्ली फर्स्ट कम फर्स्ट सर्व बेसिस, जो पहले ऑप्ट करते हैं उनको पहले एलोकेशन डेफिनेटली दिया जाएगा। बाकी ओवरऑल फिर आरटीए जो आरटीए एजेंट होते हैं उनसे कंसल्ट करके बैंकर के साथ डिसाइड करके एक पॉलिसी फॉर्मुलेट की जाती है जिसके बेसिस पे एलोकेशन किया जाता है। मान लीजिए हमने 300 करोड़ के लिए इशू ओपन किया और हमें डिमांड आती है 400 करोड़ के लिए। वी डोंट वांट एनी इन्वेस्टर टू गो मिस हार्टन और डिस हार्टन फ्रॉम अस। उसके बेसिस पे फिर एक पॉलिसी फॉर्मुलेट होती है कि क्या आप क्राइटेरिया डिफाइन करते हो जिसके बेसिस पे लोगों ने अप्लाई किया है, आप उसको एलोकेट करते हैं। उसमें कंपनी इन्वॉल्व होती है, बैंकर्स होते हैं, लॉयर्स होते हैं, आरटी एजेंट्स होते हैं, सब मिलकर के कलेक्टिव डिसीजन लेते हैं, उसके बेसिस पे एलोकेशन होता है। अगर डिमांड ज़्यादा है तो एलोकेशन के चांसेस प्रोपोर्शनेट होते हैं, अगर एक्यूरेट डिमांड आती है तो एलोकेशन 100% हो जाता है।
Wonderful. I think that's a lots of knowledge today, lots of learning today. And I would like to thank both of you, Nachiket Naik and Mr. Amit Gupta, both of you. Thank you so much for being a part of this program. I'm sure for our viewers, it's a great learning experience. Thank you so much and looking forward to see you again.
Our
Thank
pleasure,
you, Neeraj.
Neeraj.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.